our true love slips away, but I know that our love will survive. 'Cause I can't see falling stars in the sky no more. There might come a day when life and our true love slips away, but I know that our love will survive. 'Cause I can't see falling stars in the sky no more. I've been thinking what this life has to mean to you, and I like to say, why sleep? I was hoping when awake we'll make our dreams come true. Didn't hear me say, love can always count on me. Hey, 'cause I'm always where I'm supposed to be. And now I seen your life change, my life changed when night came and we came together for love. It seems that life's strange, 'cause light came when dark flames had came to come tear up our love. And I don't wanna play no games, no. Just a baby in the day you give me your last name. Oh, there might come a day when life of our true love slips away, but I know that our love will survive. 'Cause I can't see falling stars in the sky no more. There might come a day when life and our true love slips away, but I know that our love will survive. 'Cause I can't see falling stars in the sky no more.
She can't talk with no dry eyes. It's sunsets on that sky ride. Her hands up, no high five. I'm so high, I skydive. My life now feels screwed up. We don't move or we don't move up. I swear life is a ghost town, 'cause all we do is stay glued up. I can't lose you, I'll fight back. 'Cause who can give me these nights back? Just arches up in that nice back. She drunk in love with no nightcap. Just comfort me and my block scars. Won't take long to see rock hard. Just a wedding ring that's rock hard, and long nights when I'm rock hard. Yeah.
There might come a day when life of our true love slips away, but I know that our love will survive. 'Cause I can't see falling stars in the sky no more. There might come a day when life and our true love slips away, but I know that our love will survive. 'Cause I can't see falling stars in the sky no more.
Okay, I was literally muted, guys. Peace, love, and bliss to everybody that's come in. You guys know you guys are welcome to come in with your perfect energy, sharing and reciting any type of information that may go along with the lesson. It is so appreciated. We want to welcome my brother once again, Haines, who is going to come and bring some more fire we're about to get into. And I hope you guys will enjoy this segment as well. Peace, peace, and bliss to you, brother. Welcome, welcome. And once again, thank you as always for joining me. And how are you today?
Oh, no doubt. Thank you. Appreciate the build as always. You know, we get down. We're about to get into it.
That's right. That's right.
Build.
It's time. It's time. It's been about a week, brother. It's time to get back into some heavy stuff. Look, you got into some heavy stuff yesterday, but we about to get into it again.
Oh yeah, no doubt. No doubt. I'm ready for it.
Yes, we're going to start off, guys. We're going to get into the title or the topic because that's going to be a little longer. We're about to talk about Miss Rector. Yes, Miss Rector. because of with the last video that the brother showed you guys explaining everything that they were doing with that movie, The Flower Moon. And I found it very significant because, as we know, when the brother was reading, he even proved that there were over like 400 people that had like oil businesses per se, right? Or they were starting off as oil businesses, so on and so forth. Now, mind you, at this time, Miss Sarah Rector was the 11-year-old millionaire at that time, which would have translated into a billionaire in today's times, right? She was the first billionaire woman, Black so-called, indigenous, intentionally, an Indian, who was actually, the first so-called Black billionaire. So keep that in mind. There are a few others that follow, a few other billionaires, millionaires that have followed through the sequence. But when it comes to Miss Rector, and giving all respect to everything in her particular journey in going through this, not having any family, she didn't have any children. She was sold off, I'll say sold off, or put into a conservatorship with a white tea man, as they say, when going into her conservatorship with the white tea man. So now all of her oils go into a trust with certain people that have taken control over it. The Rockefellers being one, I believe Chase Bank. Man, y'all know I forget stuff sometimes. I should have had this written down. I'm sorry, but I'll verify that information. It's one of the banks, one of the major banks. They are also involved with taking all of her funding, marrying her off to this guy to be under the conservatorship, which we know the conservatorship is like a servitude or slavery that they put her into. We're going to read this story real quick, just so you guys can have a clear understanding of the hijack of this flower moon thing, the hijack of these Native Americans suing, having the nerve to go and make a big, oh my gosh, we're upset because they made this story. Oh, it's so wrong. You're not telling our story right. But hold on, guys. You're not telling the story right either. Keeping in mind, you guys aren't indigenous to America. You guys are indigenous to the United States Corporation, totally separate from the true Indian, right? Like Miss Rector. So let's clarify and let's uphold and give respects and honor to those that were actually, basically tilling the land, having the control over the land, had the riches and doing everything that they had to do. So yeah, let's get into this story real quick so that we can go ahead and proceed into our next segment. Just to clarify again, this is Miss Sarah Rector, the 11-year-old who became the richest Black girl in America in 1913. Look at the timeline, guys. You know this timeline is very important, right? You guys remember the Snyder Act that's coming to a big prominence right now is what? 1921 was when it was advised or revised. It was actually put into effect, I told you guys, in 1869, I believe it was, right? So it wasn't the first time that it was even changed. This isn't the second or the third, or actually the fourth time that the Snyder Act has been having certain ramifications and brought to the public eye to try and get you back over what? Into the wardship. Because, see, they want to have you up under their trust. Because, see, once they steal the trust and they're operating the trust and they can use you as a filler to fulfill what they need to fill the trust on their end from your trust. It's literally money laundering. It's theft, right? It's fraud, all of the criminal acts that have been done and placed against the American Aboriginal Indigenous Indians. So we have suffered a lot. But we're going to give, as I said, homage to Miss Sarah Rector and tell her story. And just kind of how everything just was stolen from her. Kind of the same story with Miss Mary Ellen Pleasant, right? The gold tycoon, the one that was paying all of the abolitionists, right? So that they can come and free the people that they were hearing about being enslaved down south. It was a shock to them. So everybody was going to her to get that money, right? So we had quite a few prominent women that just seemed to disappear into the storyline when things started happening, right? So let's get into this real quick. It says, born as a daughter of freedom in 1902, Sarah Rector rose from humble beginnings to reportedly become the wealthiest Black, or we'll say indigenous, Indian girl in the nation at the age of 11 years old. Rector and her family were African American, we say indigenous, because we know this is a misnomer, another falsitude to try to misplace her off the land. How could you be an oil tycoon with heresy of land that's come down from your ancestors if you were shipped from Africa as a slave? Makes no damn sense, right? Why they play with your mind like that? But I'm gonna get you straight, right? Okay. Members of the Muskogee Creek Nation who lived in a modest cabin in the predominantly Black town of Taft, Oklahoma, which at the time was considered Indian territory. Oh, wait a minute. It was considered Indian territory. Now, when we think of Indian territory, that has nothing to do with the Native American reservation, right? Keeping in mind, a Native American reservation are the reserved states that are put into place, right? The reserved nations for wards of the state that are members of the United States gang, right? These people being culprits and participating as actors to assume the roles of the original Aboriginal American Indians and take over our place. As it says right here, Indian territory. Now, it's funny that an African slave would have prominent stake in an Indian territory. That would mean she's an Indian, right? Why do they play word games with you, right? But we know we have common sense. See, we have the fortitude to think with our mind and see through the lies, because see, we speak with truth and light, and the discernment will come to you when you do that, right? Seeking ye shall find, knocking the door shall be open, and we are seeking and looking for truth, and it's always brought to our attention. So this is very important and prominent in this big story about this flower moon thing. Okay, let's just start there. Let me go ahead. Following the Civil War, Rector's parents, who were formerly enslaved, listen to this, formerly enslaved by Creek tribe members. Now, even though they was enslaved by these Creek tribe members, they sure broke free, got land, had the oil, became the richest. Wow, that's just an amazing story, isn't it? Isn't it funny that these slaves can just become billionaires after being enslaved and whipped and beaten and brought across the waters? I mean, it's amazing to me. It says that these members were entitled to land allotments under the Dawes Allotment Act of 1887, which is true. Not particular Indians, but certain people that were under servitude and slavery, bought through what? The Quakers, the pioneersmen, the frontiersmen, and the homesteaders, right? The Jesuit clans that played a part in being the Black natives so they can have the plantations to do the same thing as the reservations, and building their wardship with the state and being able to be allotted lands through the Bureau of Land Management, stealing and taking over your heresy once again, huh? It says, as a result, hundreds of Black children or Creek freedmen, miners, were each granted 160 acres of land in the Indian Territory, integrated with the Oklahoma Territory to form the state of Oklahoma in 1907. So this was like when she was about 5 years old. So all this happened in 5 years of her time and being born. All these things happened where they were getting all this land and just becoming these oil tycoons and, all these crazy stories, right? It says, while lands were granted and former slaves were usually to form the state of Oklahoma in 1907, were usually rock and infertile, were rocky and infertile. Rector's allotment from the Creek Indian Nation was located in the middle of the Glen Pool oil field and was initially valued at $556.50. Strapped for cash, Rector's father leased his daughter's parcel to a major oil company in February 1911, who later paid him $30 annual property tax. For 2 years later, Rector's fortune took a major turn when independent oil driller B.B. Jones produced a gusher on her lands and brought in 2,500 barrels or 1,500 gallons per day. According to Tanya Bolden, author of Searching for Sarah Rector, the richest Black girl in America, Rector began earning more than $300 a day in 1913. That equates up to $7,000 to $8,000 today. She even generated $11,566 in October of 1939. Now, Rector's notoriety. Sorry, guys, I'm a little off today. Ballooned just as quickly as her wealth. In September of 1913, the Kansas City Star local newspaper published a headline. It said, "Millions to a Negro girl, Sarah Rector, 10 years old. Her income of $300 a day from oil reports face-to-face Africa." Reports face-to-face Africa. Now, this does kind of leave you a question to, was she an actual slave? Was she one of the indentured servitude? It just wouldn't make sense, right? When we read the stories of the pioneersmen, the homesteaders, so on and so forth, and we even hear her story of her having no children, her being sold off into conservatorship, it would seem like she was an Indian, because this is what happened with all the Indian women, right? They had the land. This is kind of confirmation of that versus this story that we're hearing, right? So we got to make sure we're keeping our minds together, especially when we're reading something that's called what? Black enterprise. This is a Black enterprise article. So, they're going to promote the blacks, but we have a clear mind. And just to make sure, I'm just going to make sure I reform you guys. Okay. She got many proposals. It said 4 white men in Germany wanted to marry the Negro child. Disgusting. They wanted to marry her at 11 years old because she was so rich, ready to go into their perversity and their sex trafficking and things of that nature, because that's like child trafficking. She's got this money. Let's see what we can do. That's funding. They're trying to, this kind of goes into what we're still going to be discussing. Keep that in mind. It says the 4 German men wanted to marry her. The Negro child that might share her fortune, but she couldn't even share it. It was stolen from her before she haven't even had a chance to, share with anybody. Meanwhile, the Savannah Tribune wrote that the oil well produces neat income. The Negro girl is 112,000 a year is what she was pulling in. Another newspaper bubbled her that the richest dubbed her the richest Negro in the world. Her fame became widespread, and she received numerous requests for loans, monies, gifts, and 4 marriage proposals that they spoke of. At the time, a law required the Native Americans. Hold on. Earlier in the passage, it said what? It said it was Indian land. Not one time when we hear about Indian land do we ever hear native land. The only time you hear about the native land is when it comes to what? The reservations, the ones that were created with the plantations, having 50 or more people, having a pastor, having a church, having a school. Now they were allotted land. So now they would be able to become self-appointed chiefs of the tribe that they set up on the reservation. Keep that in mind, guys. Anyone that's new, make sure you guys know this is how the American natives have been created. They were created through the government construct, becoming wards of the state, coming over. And once they came over through immigration, they were set up on the reservation with 50 or more people and 1 pastor, 1 hospital, and 1 school. They were allowed to become an Indian tribe. This is where we get the 5 tribes. This is where we get the $5 Indians. This is where we get the fake ass Indians from, right? That we get tired of. Okay, let's read this real quick, and we're going to let the brother get to this next one, this bill, because this is about to be fire. In 1914, the Chicago Defender published an article claiming that her estate was being mismanaged by grafters and her ignorant parents, and that she was uneducated, dressed in rags, and lived in an unsanitary shanty. National African American leaders such as Booker T. Washington and W.B. Du Bois became concerned about her welfare. Now, none of these allegations were true, they said. Rector and her siblings went to school in Taft, an all-black town, closer than Twine. They lived in a modern 5-room cottage, and they owned the automobile. That same year, Rector enrolled in the Children's House, a boarding school for teenagers at Tuskegee Institute in Alabama. She was at Tuskegee in Alabama. By the time she turned 18, her net worth was estimated at $1 million, or about $11 million today. She also owned stocks and bonds, a boarding house, a bakery, a restaurant in Tuskegee, Oklahoma, and 2,000 acres of land. And she eventually left Tuskegee with her family and moved to Kansas City, Missouri, where she bought a grand home that still rests today. I've showed you guys this before. The home was so huge and massive. It wasn't just a home. She had an estate, right? Her estate was large enough for at least 20 homes to be built on. And that home that she built for her particular home, it still stands today. The directors eventually moved into a home that was a far cry from that weather-whipped 2-room cabin in which Sarah began life. This home place was a stately stone house, and it became known as the Rector Mansion. If you guys want to view that, you can look that up to see how beautiful it was. Bolden told the New York Amsterdam News. So we wanted to get that out, guys, so you guys made sure that you had the true information on her, and understanding that as the brother went over with you guys when he went through the flower moon, there were like 400 companies, right? Oil companies at the time. So out of those 400 oil companies, I would think at least 80% of them were the indigenous, because what? It was all in Indian territory, right? If it's in Indian territories, the Indians would be the ones that would own that territory, right? All right. So we wanted to just get into that, give you guys a refresher on that, let you know, what was going on with Miss Rector, how everything was taken from her. The Rockefellers took a lot of her fortune. And as you know, what you see that what happened, this was like 1913. She was like the richest at this time, right? When she went under the custodianship. What's amazing to me is that this is the same time that the United States was purchased in Florida for $500. If you guys remember, I showed you guys the articles of incorporation, the actual purchase of the United States corporation going into business in 1914, right after this. Then a little bit later, we have the gold with the Banking Act. That was right after the everything was stolen from Miss Mary Ellen Pleasant. And then don't forget, guys, just throwing this in as a little tip of information, we don't want to forget about Henrietta Lacks, which is actually Miss Henrietta Pleasant Lacks, right? Ancestor of Miss Mary Ellen Pleasant, who had all the gold. After they stole her gold, they had the nerve to take her ancestors, all of her golden cells. The gold that the brother be talking about, we talking about the cells, the things that we come from, we derive from, her blood, her plasma, her cells being used for everything in medicine today. Man, it get deep, y'all, when we think about the things that they have stolen from our people and they continue to abuse and use, right? Yeah, we're going to stop that right here. Yeah, brother, what did you want to get into anything or say anything about that particular part before we get into the next segment?
Oh yeah, that's especially deep, especially like we said, how when you pay close attention, you always see that the Blancos always speak in mayonnaise. And what do we say mayonnaise is? We say mayonnaise is a bucket of mayonnaise. It is the entire English language, 3 cups of gaslighting and 2 tablespoons of bullshit. And he is exceptional, him and his woman, and a lot of these Oreos are exceptional at speaking mayonnaise. I mean, you just think at it, one of the things that just jumped out at me was when he was saying Indian Territory in Oklahoma. Oklahoma is an Indian name. Stupid. So I mean, the shit that he gets to say, because one of the things that he knows what happens through his educational mindfuck that we call the K through 12 program, we do not pride ourselves on having analytical skills. So reading comprehension is fundamental. I was told by a Baltimore educator, he said that if you cannot understand what you have read, nigga, you cannot read. that's basically how it goes and stuff. So we read things, we try to take them in, and that Blanco's able to contradict himself a million times in one paragraph. And people will cite that information, and it just leads to or contributes to the mass confusion that we find ourselves subject to as we try to rifle through all of this mess to gain a clearer understanding of not only why we here, but where we need to get to in order to achieve the highest level of enlightenment. So yeah, very profound stuff. And this, like you said, it brings us to, I think I'm able to pull up this video. We'll pause on that for a second, but we want to go, like we said, we're going to transition that into, like you said, it's just not, our bodies are representative of the land. That's one thing that's important, representative of the land. So just as much as they're land snatchers, they're also body snatchers. Okay. And I want to share a document with you guys. I mean, I'm pretty sure a lot of us have said, oh, well, I'm aware that melanin, of the power of melanin. And we talk about what melanin is, in the book. Oh, which I also want to do today. I know we talked about this, but you didn't. I think you may have sent it. I don't know if I don't want to be presumptuous and assume that you have or have not sent it, but we want to try to give away 2 books of the Carbon Baby today if we can, if you want to do that.
Oh, yeah,
we can. I don't know how you want to do it with your subs, but if they want to, if you want to ask a general question or 2 or 3 questions, whoever gets the answers, they win a free copy of the Untold Story of the Carbon Baby, and you just get their address, and then I'll send the books to you. You can send them to them, or I could just send them to the addresses, and we'll do that this show. So you guys continue to tune in. We'll make sure that we give away 2 free copies of the Untold Story of the Carbon Baby. So with that being said, what I wanted to do was show you guys an article. I'm gonna share my screen. First, I want to see this.
Oh, you still got the other one sharing, brother. So you want to stop that one?
Okay, let's see. So remove it from the.
Yep, remove it.
Okay. All right, no doubt. Right. Okay. Okay. So we're gonna share this one. Is it up there?
Yep. There we go.
All right. This one is from the price here. It says, how much is melanin worth per gram? And of course, they're letting you know that this is you. This is you. Okay. Last updated on the 2nd of June, 2023. All right, first published on February 21st of 2023. All right, it says, you surely heard of melanin, the pigment that is found in the skin and hair of Asian and African people. All right, more so in our skin. They talk about the hair of Asian people, but let's not, we know that these fork-tongued devils, what they love to do. They love to conflate us with other people, but we know that we are unique in our eumelanin with our eumelanin species and content. Although it is commonly found in African skin, right? So, okay. It also is part of the Caucasian hair composition, but they're talking about pheomelanin. So once again, over the last decade, melanin has become very prevalent in the beauty industry, bringing a lot of versatility. Okay. But how much is melanin worth? This question has been debated quite extensively by scholars, but only lately has caught the attention of the public as well. This article should not only tell you what is the price of melanin, but also go over the superconductor and pigment properties of this substance. First off, let's just say that melanin is worth somewhere between $450 and $1,150 per gram. But this is way less than what it used to be not too long ago. And we're going to show you why that's important. So we showed you, we're showing you, okay, that, all right, how much melanin is worth. And we're going to show you why it's worth that much. Okay, so I'm going to shift over to another article right quick. Shift over to another article. All right. And we're going to show you, it says, uncovering the truth, how foreskin is used in cosmetics and what you need to know. So basically what they're going to talk about too as well, because melanin is implicated in this, because we know melanin is a migratory cell. It basically colonizes the entire body, right? Especially for eumelanin species, right? Or anybody who has human skin, your type of melanin is going to colonize your body. And what that melanin does, obviously it's a superconductor, has healing properties, and obviously it's important for the overall health or the overall stability of the immune system. It has immune properties, okay? Uncovering the truth, how foreskin is used in cosmetics and what you need to know. Okay, what is foreskin used in cosmetics? So I think they got that a little wrong. It should say, why is foreskin used in cosmetics? Is foreskin used in cosmetics? It is a highly debated question. Ain't no debate. This is what they're doing. And actually it goes for $150,000 too as well. So it says, despite different beliefs, there have been reports of cosmetic companies using fibroblast cells harvested from infant circumcisions in their skincare products. These cells contain growth factors that can potentially promote skin rejuvenation and healing. However, the use of human-derived ingredients raises ethical concerns among consumers. No, they don't. These blancos don't care. How does cosmetics companies use foreskin? A step-by-step guide. When it comes to the beauty industry, there's a lot of confusion and misconception surrounding the use of foreskin in cosmetic products. Many consumers are aware that some companies use this tissue as an ingredient in their skincare formulations. And this step-by-step guide will take a closer look at how cosmetic companies utilize foreskins. So we're going to talk about the collection process, the growth factors, extraction. Now, as you see this photo right here, you see this blanco worried about her skin. Her skin is sagging, all right? It's sagging because it's breaking down. Their pheomelanin is not stable. All right. So you have to understand too as well that in chemistry, what they call aging is called radioactive decay. There's very different terminology that's used in chemistry and alchemy that is used in conventional science and outlooks. That's one thing that you have to understand. I'll give you an example. Do you know that in the early history of chemistry, they used to use bananas to measure radiation? Bananas have radiation in them. They have a radioactive element in them called potassium 40. In nutrition class or in layman's terms, they tell you that a banana is spoiling. But in chemistry, we say that a banana is radioactively decaying. Check. All right. So now let's continue on. It says, in fact, fibroblast growth factor found within platelet-rich plasma, which was made famous by, and then look, a lot of these stars are endorsing these chemicals and don't even know what's going on. Stars like LeBron James, CJ McCollum, among others. Don't even need this stuff, but they're using it and promoting these Blanco products because, of course, the Blanco has to have us participate in their rituals. All right.
Look at brother, real quick, brother. I'm sorry. The comment Tia just wrote. She said, "Remember that clip of Ellen DeGeneres and Sandra Bullock where she was pretending to call Sandra out, but was low key laughing about the foreskin?"
Oh yeah, I think I remember. I think that went viral.
Yeah,
that went viral.
Yeah,
I remember that because they know what they're doing. They try to laugh about it, but this is exactly what they're doing. That they've been harvesting us for a very long time. Okay, and so it goes on to say, Foreskin growth factors are used in a variety of cosmetic products, particularly anti-aging treatments. These ingredients are believed to help stimulate collagen production and improve overall skin texture, creating a more youthful appearance. But it don't really stop there. What this article is not going to tell you is that collagen is a part of your bone makeup. Collagen and calcium. That's why your bones are called living tissue. So these blancos, we know that their bones are not strong. Why? Because vitamin D, along with calcium and all these other minerals, makes your bones strong. But the problem that blancos have is that they can't be out in the sun long enough to collect the vitamin D. Therefore, you have to know, as a race of people, they are damn near destined to feed off of you just to survive. This is deep. So it goes on, talks about the different type of formulations and stuff. But that article in and of itself, in my opinion, is definitely an eye opener, because it shows the differences between us, and it definitely shows the fact that these people have to feed off of us in order to to put themselves in a position where they are able to even not just live a life abundantly, but just to live, period, to stabilize themselves, to achieve what we call in science homeostasis, a balance in their body. So the most important thing that we have to understand, like we said before, when we're assessing them and assessing ourselves, the difference is that they have to be what we call body snatchers. You know what I'm saying? In order to live the way that they live. That's why when you talk to most blancos, or you talk to people who talk about blancos could change, and why are you being so hard on them? You must understand that the only thing that blancos is looking for is justification. I said this in my previous video, the last video that I just dropped. You can have the eloquence of and the power and passion of a Malcolm X, the intelligence of a George Washington Carver, the demeanor of a Martin Luther King, and they will see you as dumb if you don't agree with Blanco science. Yet you could be dumb as a box of rocks, be like a Herschel Walker, and they will help you run for governor. Because you just agree with what's going on. As long as you tell them, what white folks is doing has helped this world and progress and technological advancement. And without white people, where would you be? Oh, they love that shit. They'll make you president. You talk that shit.
The good old Negro, that good old Negro, old cool man.
And okay, so this is important. We were talking about the book of Henrietta Lacks, The Immortal Life of Henrietta Lacks by Rebecca Skloot. Now, mind you, how we also said that these blancos, especially these so-called chosen people called Jews and stuff, the so-called Jews, this was a Jew who wrote this book about her. That hounded her family to get all of these secrets and stuff, because if you read this book, you'll know that the family was very, very protective over Henrietta Lacks. They didn't want to relive all of the trauma and all of that different stuff, and she hounded this family. The woman went over there, stayed in motels, hotels, called the family about 1 million times, and eventually she earned their trust, because that's eventually what happens with blancos, right? You know what I'm saying? Eventually we end up
their way in just like a snake. Yep, you're
right. Exactly. And so the important thing is, this was so crazy. I ended up buying these 2 books about a week apart when I bought these books. Now, another book you should have in your library, it's called The Organ Thieves. The Organ Thieves. Now, what amazed you was that at the top of the the title of the book, it says, a quote from Good Housekeeping, it says, a shocking account reminiscent of the immortal life of Henrietta Lacks. I can't make this shit up. Now, what you will realize is this book is based on a guy by the name of Bruce Tucker. Bruce Tucker was a black man he was a businessman, and he ended up bumping his head and ended up going to the hospital and never came out of that mug. When his brother finally got his bodies back, his heart and his kidneys were missing.
Wait, what was that brother's name again, brother?
His name was Bruce Tucker.
Yes. Okay, I've heard about.
Yeah, because it was a real big thing in 1968. It was during the Martin Luther King thing, so it went under the radar for a lot of our people. Okay, and so I just want to kind of read a couple of these things. I want to show y'all how and I'm not going to go off too much into it, but I want to show y'all how important this stuff is for you guys to learn this stuff, okay, or to become aware, to be aware of this stuff. Now, this takes place in Virginia. All right. Now, what's so cold about this is that these blancos knew, because we always had these arguments like this. So this is double. We're gonna get one thing right so we can get 2 things straight. these Blancos always try to make it seem to be like they don't know or they're aloof about who the chosen people are, who the Egyptians were, and all of this different stuff. But remember, I told you, you can get an idea of how of who you are, what these Blancos are up to, if you just investigate their science. If you just investigate the science. So in Virginia had built a building, and I cannot make this up. This is what I'm telling. I'm gonna read some of this, okay? Because what's also important is that before we read this, the people who the doctors and their students, get this, brothers and sisters, doctors and their students would rob our graveyards of our black people. Now I'm finished. Now first, let me read something important. Let me read something important. Give me 1 second. I got it.
They learned that from their disgusting ancestors that were that were breaking into the Egyptian mummies' tombs and sipping from their graves.
Exactly.
I heard that from Ab TV for the first time. I couldn't even believe it. I had to go do the research myself. Like, whoa, that's crazy.
And they continue to do that to us too as well, right? Like you said, they continued that practice because they knew that really we were the only ones who were real, quote unquote, humans, so to speak. So it said, just to kind of build this, this is on page 19 of the book. It says, so for example, the grave robber was called a resurrectionist, a strange religiously fraught term that would have been comical if the work had not been so despicable. Okay. So this is what's important. This is real deep. Page 23, the Anatomy Men. It said, shortly before the Constitutional Convention was called to order in Philadelphia in the spring of 1787, the volatile issue of supplying medical schools with anatomy subjects stoked a full-scale riot in New York City. Underlying the mayhem were the nation's earliest protests about why Black Lives Matter. So these mugs was going crazy because they knew that they were predominantly taking Black people and Black people bodies out of their graves and even kidnapping Black people. Black people had a thing back in the day where they would scare their children and say, don't go outside at night. The doctors may get you. So we know that ain't this deep. So
bro.
I'm telling you, we know that when we're scared of doctors, look how it passes down to each generation without you even being realized why you even scared to go to the doctor.
Because it's in our cells, brother. I tell people this all the time. You come from your ancestors, your ancestors, and your ancestors. Everything in them is inside of you, and it's a part of you. Only the truth and the light will bring that information and unlock that binary code. And so when you start informing yourself, here it comes. None but truth.
Okay. And so look at these. I'm gonna read a couple more passages. So it said, so when they built their building in Virginia for this anatomy research, guess what happens? It says in October 1844, this architectural anomaly was simply called the College Building. It would take another half century before it was given a title worthy of its exotic grandeur, the Egyptian Building. So where they was hold on, let me keep going before I even comment on that. Let me keep going. Like
me, brother. It'd be so hard. You be wanting to just talk about every part of it. It's so hard to leave it alone.
Now, check this out. This is what happens. And I'm going to just leave it at this. Deep-seated suspicions in the Black community have been acknowledged on the editorial pages of the Richmond Dispatch. It read, many of the Negroes in Richmond are, for want of room and nurses, sent to the infirmary of the medical college when they are taken sick. Among them prevails a superstition that when they enter the infirmary, they never come out alive. Adding to the suspicious circumstances, no doubt, was the infirmary's location inside the mysterious Egyptian building. So they would take these Black people inside the Egyptian building and they would never come back out. They would never come back out. And why is all of these things important? Is because it goes back to what we were saying before, how powerful our genome is, how they understand that in order to figure out how to live on this so-called planet, they have to first graft themselves in, and grafting themselves in is just not in the human species. It requires nature in and of itself. So they know that first, as we graft ourselves in, simultaneously, what we have to do is we have to also look into, as we deconstruct and as we reverse engineer nature by breaking their genome down. This is what was the whole purpose of the Genome Project, which was from 1990 to 2003. But as we break their genome down, we have to first utilize what we can or use what we can in order to get us to a level to where we can survive here, and then also gather information and knowledge that will help us to destroy those who we have positioned ourselves as their enemy. That's what's so crucial about all this. Because remember, when we talk about with Henrietta Lacks, as Henrietta Lacks' blood was helping Blancos, to deal with polio, guess what was also happening? They were also conducting the syphilis experiments. So that duality has to be known in our community, right? And when I was in the previous video that I just did, that whether they came from God or man, I was exposing how the polio virus, which is called poliomyelitis, how one thing that I didn't show, which I'm a kind of preview on this channel, which I think is real deep. I was showing how there's a book called Simian V40 or SV40, and it talked about how these Blancos were using monkey kidneys in order to come about with this polio vaccine, right? And they obviously they couldn't culture the cells, so they used Henrietta Lacks cells to culture the cells, but they still injected people with these monkey virus or monkey strains, right? Which, a monkey's kidneys is one of the nastiest, and the kidneys is one of the filthiest organs in any mammal species, because it's what filters your blood. It's what cleans your blood. So it's absolutely filthy. So you got to ask yourself, why in the heck was this Blanco sitting up here taking monkey kidneys, especially when he claims everybody else come from monkeys? Why would you use monkey DNA we can incubate it. It incubates it well. No, bitch, you come from them. That's why you running around with your geneticists talking about how 98 to 99% of your DNA is in common with the chimp. Okay, but the point is, polio is spread through feces. Polio is spread through feces, but you have to realize that the Blanco he was so scared of polio that he kept his kids from schools. They didn't go into swimming pools or anything like that. They were ostracizing themselves from one another. That's how scared they were of polio. It was considered the AIDS of that time. In the between 1948 and 1955, there were so-called 7 polio outbreaks. All right.
Real quick on what you said a second ago. I'm sorry. You mentioned something about like with the Tuskegee thing. Now, keep in mind, remember the story we just read about Sarah Rector. Remember it said that she went to the school, the Tuskegee school. Now, all those people that were in that school, if she went there, the millionaire, this is all around a little bit before that time, of course. But if she went there during that time, I would think a lot of the millionaires that they used those experiments on, they wanted to get rid of to steal the land, some of the ore dwellers. You just put that in my head when you said that, but go ahead, brother. I didn't mean to see.
Oh yeah, Tuskegee was home. Remind you, I've read this a million times, this passage a million times, but I think that it must be read again. Just to put emphasis on this. I think it's in chapter 13. Yes, it's chapter 13, page 97 in the Gila Factory. It says that black hands holding vials of Gila in this headline. This is in New York Times. It said unit at Tuskegee helps polio fight. Corpse of Negro scientist has key role in evaluating of Dr. Salk's vaccine. Black scientists and technicians, many of them women, use cells from a black woman to help save the lives of millions of Americans, most of them white. And they did so on the same campus. And at the very same time, the state officials were conducting the infamous Tuskegee syphilis studies. So this is deep.
Wow.
You see what I'm saying? So that substantiates, that brings credibility to what I was just talking about and how this warfare has a dualistic nature. Yeah. Okay. And not only that, the thing that we have to understand is, like we talked about, like you said, with her, we don't know what experimentation she went under, but we do know, as we all like it also substantiates that our people participated in this experimentation. That these colleges, like a lot of these so-called black colleges, they're named after white men. Howard University is named after Oliver Howard. He was a white Civil War general. Okay? Spelman University is named after a Rockefeller. This is deep shit.
Took all our universities and changed them over, even some of our temples, and they changed them over to these schools, these big schools.
Oh, yeah. No doubt. No doubt. And all of these schools, like we talked about, are in a part of these rituals. Like in that previous video when I gave the example of, like we just mentioned, Oklahoma. Oklahoma Oklahoma's college team, the University of Oklahoma, is called the Oklahoma Sooners. The Sooners were named after people who raided Indian lands to get it sooner than when it was allowed to. That's where the name comes from. And yet, you had these niggas participating in the ritual for their football teams. And we do this all the time. I talked about the Kansas and Missouri ritual. Kansas Jayhawks. Jayhawks comes from people jayhawking, right? Which was like a guerrilla form tactic in the Civil War where these they were more or less nothing but criminals running around beefing with Kansas because Kansas at the time, as before it was inducted into the Union, there was dispute about whether or not it should be a free state or a slave state. And Missouri was going to war inside Kansas and stuff, destabilizing it. So you have what was called the border wars. And then I've shown, obviously, illustrations and I've shown posters for their football games between Kansas and Missouri. And this is where their rivalry comes from. They allowed them rivalries to bleed into their sports. We participate in their rituals each and every time, even without realizing it, but to our own detriment, And so, like we noticed, let's go just 1 second, if I can, sister. There's also a book that people can get too when we're talking about melanin. It says it's by Nnamdi Azikiwe, which is N, capital N, small n, AMDI, capital A, ZIKIWE. His book is Melanin is Worth More Than Gold. Is this the era of the blessed generation? So I believe, that's a book that I just, that I'm ordering just to try to check it out. But we want to we want to show you exactly how. Okay, said yes. Wasn't it named after Rockefeller? I believe so. I think Norma Rockefeller or something. Man, I forget what her name was. But yeah, it's definitely named after her. And it's just amazing to me how we go to these and we talk about these are historically black universities and institutions and stuff. And these are the people who, gladly participate in subjugating the rest of us who they claim are just, we're damn near, they compare us to monkeys. They claim like we are the missing connection between ape and man. That's how they treat us. You see what I'm saying? But I think, the thing that we have to realize is that, especially when we talk about that blood plasma, like Sister Soul always likes to or loves to talk about, we're talking about, the yellowish gold liquid that we have in ourselves. That is the secret to living life abundantly, but we have to take care of it. And how do we take care of it? We take care of it by taking in the right crystals. I've shown you guys a million times before. Matter of fact, if I can, what I'm gonna do is when she talks, what I'll do is pull up the article from the Encyclopedia Britannica, which I asked her to pull up the last time I was in the chat when she had went live. And it'll show you the lactose crystal. It'll show you that lactose is a crystal. It shows you that glucose is a crystal. And these crystals bond together. They create hormones and the like. I've done countless shows on this or videos on this to substantiate this, just to leave no shadow, leave no doubt whatsoever in your mind that these are crystals. And I tell you all the time that in the periodic table of elements, that carbon 14 group, that vertical column, because those vertical columns are called families. When you look at the periodic table of elements, those vertical columns are called families. The 14th group is called the carbon group. Okay, carbon, silica, germanium, tin, and lead, and flavonium. The nickname for the carbon 14 group is called the crystallogens. This is not a name that I came up with. This is something that the Blancos call it. They call us the crystallogens. And we have to know that this is us, the carbon species, because even though carbon is in the carbon 14 group, the very study of organic chemistry is the study of carbon. So you have to ask yourself, if they teach your children and taught you organic chemistry, and whether you liked it or not does not matter. If they teach you organic chemistry and tell you that the whole entire artificial matrix that you are aware of, that you use, and everything that you use, from all your cleaning products to your all your current technology, your phones, your the TVs that you use, the cars and trucks that you drive, all rely on chemistry, then you have to know that it is important for you to understand that's why you're the enemy, because you contain all of this material within your organism. The very thing that they use to run their artificial matrix is within you. Remember in the movie Matrix when Morpheus came to Neo, and Neo was like, what's all this about? Now, remember, Neo was supposed to be played by Will Smith. It was supposed to be an all-black cast. So Neo was played by Will Smith, and Neo actually said, so what's all this for? And Morpheus came to him and showed him a battery. He said, to turn you into this. This is the whole point. We already know that, like even a sister has said, she's interviewed this lady. We all know that was written by a black woman. That's what's so powerful about the Matrix too, as well. You see what I'm saying? So this has to be core in our understanding. Now, just on the side note, a sidebar, we'll go into just to show you exactly how this, we know that it started way before then, but just the fascination of it all too as well. I want to show you guys an article right quick on another Sarah, but this one you guys know is Sarah Baartman, right? So I'm gonna share my screen right quick.
That song, what's that song about Sarah? I wonder who they was talking about. I can't remember the song. It's an older song. Sarah.
We never, with they rituals, we never know. I wouldn't doubt it, sis.
And I wish I could remember it. Go ahead, brother.
Okay. You see it up there? Is it up there, sis?
There you go, brother.
All right, so what's up? The significance of Sarah Baartman. They called it a Hottentot Venus. We know obviously that's a derogatory term, right? And this obviously is an exaggerated depiction of Sarah Baartman. All right. And so it talked about how 2 centuries ago, Sarah Baartman died after years spent in European freak shows. Now rumors over a possible Hollywood film about Baartman's life have sparked controversy. Sarah Baartman died on 29th of December, 1815, but her exhibition continued. Her brain, skeleton, and sexual organs remained on display in a Paris museum until 1974. This is how devious and dark these Europeans are. Her remains weren't repatriated and buried until 2002 because her body was sent back to South Africa, okay? Brought to Europe seemingly on false pretenses by a British doctor, stage named the Hottentot Venus, she was paraded around freak shows in London and Paris with crowds invited to look at her large buttocks. Today, she is seen by many as the epitome of colonial exploitation and racism, of the ridicule and commodification of Black people. Reports of Beyonce planning to write and star in a film about Baartman have been denied by the singer's representatives, but the rumors were enough to generate concern. Jean Burgess, a chief from the Khoi group that Baartman was from, argued that Beyonce lacked the basic human dignity to be worthy of writing Sarah's story, let alone playing the part. So she went in on Beyonce because Beyonce was trying to write this film and star in it. All right, that was it started off as a rumor, but it was purported to be true. But Jack Divnarian, chairman of the South African Guild of Actors, said filmmakers had the right to tell the stories of people you find fascinating, and that's what we must be careful not to object to do. Even in denying any link to a film, Beyonce representative said this is an important story that should be told because Beyonce was trying to tell it. Now, my and it's just my opinion. This is just what I think. I think that that Beyonce was actually about to play Sarah Baartman, but I think Jay-Z got involved because he knew what them Blancos was finna do to her. You write that script, you know that Beyonce was finna get dragged through the mud. It was gonna be another Monsters Ball, a Halle Berry Monsters Ball. Jay-Z knew what Hollywood was about to do to her because Sarah Baartman, remember, went into prostitution shortly before she died.
Right.
And she died of inflammatory disease, but we know the French was notorious for French diseases, especially syphilis, and back then it was called booba disease. All right, so it's funny to me how Europeans always associate Black people with disease when they were the epitome, they were the personification of a disease organism. All right, not to mention, I mean, this woman was intelligent. She spoke 4 languages. Okay, this was an intelligent being, and so they dissected her up, brain and all, because one of the things when they came into contact with us, why Europeans are so fascinated with us? Because you have to understand, a lot of Africa lies, the entire continent lies within the tropical region. They were so scared of going there. That's why they called it the dark continent and why it was so mysterious. Because one thing that you have to understand, even when you go back, that's something that went over your head when they were teaching you geography. Those 2 lines or lines of latitude that you call the Tropic of Cancer and Tropic of Capricorn, the Tropic of Cancer was actually named just after that, of Cancer. White folks, when they went into that region, which was Africa in and of itself, they started to get what was called crab-like manifestations on the skin, because Tropic of Cancer lied in the crab constellation. And so they named it after that constellation because that's what skin cancer would look like when it first started developing on them. Look it up. This is research. Look, Encyclopedia Britannica for one of these sources. Okay? So one of the things that they were fascinated with, they were like, how do they survive in this sun? Because you got to think, now that you're around Blancos, and most of us ain't around most of them anyways until we go to work or we're interacting with them in our day-to-day lives and stuff like that. But
right
until then, we were a deep fascination for them. That's why you will see a lot of YouTube videos when our brothers and sisters go overseas, go to Japan, go to China. These Asians will literally stop, follow them, look at them, take pictures. See, what white folks have the benefit of doing and why white folks see themselves as chosen is because they're the closest to you. Their experience is different than any other so-called European or Caucasian because they are intimately connected with you. And this is why this is so deep. They are intimately connected with our energy. Matter of fact,
that's right, sis.
Oh, go ahead.
No, I said that's right. She said now they she said they knew about us and that those like us because we were the guys basically. And coming to that real quick on what she's saying, a little off, but when it comes to that, the radium, you said something earlier. I didn't want to interrupt you again, but
no, go ahead, bro.
Just to mention it. Yeah, with the radium and stuff, right? So with them being closer to us, brother, I did a couple of bills on this. I don't know if I ever mentioned it to you, but when it comes to them being created in those incubators in the test tubes with the nitrogen and the radium, right? With that radium, right? Think about that's the false light, right? We are the true light, right? So if the same way the radium heals them, this is why they have to be around us. Just like what you're saying, it's a connection because now we give off that energy. You know how they say, oh, you get all you Negroes in a church or somewhere, it's gonna start getting hot because we exude that energy. It's our copper. It's that energy we have. So when they're around us, that's why they love us. They hate us, but they love us because they absorb that. They pull that. They will drain the shit out of you for that. Especially people at the workplace. I remember when I used to be in the workplace with these people. Oh, they will drain you. They will pull from you that energy because they need it to survive. Like the brother said, this is true facts. That's all I want to say on that, bro.
Oh no, that's excellent input because that's what said. This is what makes them body snatchers. This is why they try and look, and we know that they're closer to the animal-like nature than we are. And I say, anytime that we're talking about, the energy that makes up this so-called planet, we always have to be careful. There is a slippery slope because according to their science, but what we know, especially in terms of alchemy, everything is built on those building blocks that they call the four nucleotides, right? Adenine, cysteine, guanine, and thymine, or thiosyne. I forget what those are in terms of, but there are these four building blocks. And remember, when they do DNA sequencing, it's all about what order those building blocks are in will determine the organism. So we all got everything in common with everything here, right? But this arrangement of those differences, even though they may be slight or they may be large and vast, they equate to or they account for the differences in the behavior and obviously the makeup of different organisms. All right. So that's very important. So the point being is this: when they were grafted, they still are more animal-like in nature. And I think Bobby Hemmett made a very important point. It was crucial. He said, if you notice, the Blanco is still more animal-like in his evolutionary stage. Then he said, this is one of the reasons he said, if you notice, Blancos will always tell you when you run across a wild animal, they will become, their hair will stand up on their end and they will become aggressive because they fear you. So it's a natural reaction for them to show you, like, I will defend myself, right? He said, if you notice the Blanco being more into his animal stage of evolution, he does the same thing. And then we'll sit back and be like, what in the hell was this blind? Why did the police shoot this man 40, 50 times? They literally have, just like how we have information passed down to us from our ancestors, they have information passed down to them from their ancestors too. So their higher self is telling them niggas is gods. They can destroy you by, see, their ancestors knew when they were around our godlike ancestors, we had technology that was within us. And I implore you to get the book by Noor Ankh Amen. Noor Ankh Amen. It is called The African Origins of Electromagnetism. Powerful book. The African Origins of Electromagnetism. And he tells you the story about the Ankh. You know what I'm saying? And he shows you how the Egyptians were using it to channel energy from the ionosphere. How our bodies were the technology. This is the point that Blancos know we're getting back to. That's why they fear us. This is where they know we're getting back to. That's why they fear us.
Yes.
Okay? So when you looking at it, see, I explained this to a brother when we had a discussion. I said, one thing that you got to notice, you don't have to be aware of your supernatural powers. Blancos are already aware of it. That's why they chop you down. That's why they chop you down. It's just like Henrietta Lacks. She wasn't aware that she carried that type of information in her body. But when the Blanco found out, she didn't have to know. She was a dead woman walking, regardless if she was thinking that she was going to recover or not. She was already dead in their eyes, just because of the power that she had in the DNA. It's this video that is circulating on YouTube right now, where it was these sisters, and they were with some multi-millionaires, white men, and the white men wanted to buy their eggs. And it was like, well, we give you about $10,000 for them. And the sisters came there because, these uppity sisters, they think they're around some white men, and they're about to take them for everything they got. And the white men sit up there talking about how valuable their bodies are, that they'll pay them for these eggs. And I was thinking to myself, I said, these sisters would be a damn fool to sit up there and go into any hospital and think that only thing that they're going to take out is their damn eggs. You got to be a damn fool. And then at least they had enough sense to say, my eggs is worth more than that. They were still intending to sell them, but they were like, you ain't going to give me no $10,000 for them. So that's the point. It's like, when you take a look at the power that we have, we don't have to be knowledgeable about it to be a threat. Because remember, even in the Blanco's legal system, he says ignorance of the law is no excuse. Nigga, I can't help. It's the same thing in spiritual law. I can't help because you ignorant of who the fuck you are. When I see you, I'm going to chop you down. That's your fault, you ignorant of who you is. So when you running around talking about, I wonder why we live in these crackers' head rent free. I wonder why they killing us and murdering us. The cracker like, man, keep wondering. And while you're thinking, here go a couple of these bullets. While you're thinking, here go this bad medicine. While you're thinking, here go this GMO food. While you're thinking, here's this. So you can think all you want to. And while you're thinking, they will continue on with eradication attempts. Now, I give this example many times. And this is deep. In chemistry, I'll show you how important chemistry is. In chemistry, you said I thought he offered them $100 at first. I think, did you see that video? T. Malika Zuri, did you see it? Hope I'm saying your name right. Malkia. T. Malkia Zuri. Hope I'm saying that right. Yeah, so it's right. That video was wild, man. But we take a look at chemistry, like I was telling you. In chemistry, because lead is in our family. You have to know lead is in our family. You have carbon, silica, germanium, tin, and lead. Lead is at the bottom. Lead is at the bottom in our family, but it's molecularly similar to our carbon. Now, this is what's so deep. Now, we all know, and you can look this up. I encourage you to do your research. If you can prove I'm wrong, which you're not, because I do my research, I would quit doing what I'm doing. But look up this research, and you will see that Black people in particular, because we have the melanin species called, the carbon, that's the black-brown combination. One of the things that you'll realize is we will absorb lead 600% more than white folks, 300% more than Mexicans. All right, 600% more than white folks. So why do you think they were moving our children into these homes laden with lead? Okay, and
I'm sorry, brother. And turned around, if you could remember, what a little bit after we had like the 80s drug thing, basically, with the all the crack and everything that they distributed to our people to kill them off. Right after that, a lot of the lawsuits, I don't know if you remember, but they start lead lawsuit. If your child got lead, they put all these lawsuits out. You remember that, brother? I
remember them campaigns. I remember them campaigns. Yep. I remember them campaigns.
They was pulling that money in, brother. They was getting, because remember, the lawyers part of their system. So now here they got a whole congregated system. Oh, get these lawyers so you can get this class action lawsuit. You can go and file and you can get your own lawsuit. It was a big thing for a few years, like 10 years. These people was raking, and the lawyers was getting a big part of it, brother. So here they set it up. And then they make sure that they had their people getting paid behind it. I just want to say that shit was absurd.
Oh man, that's assault goes so deep. And like you said, like I tell people all the time, you know how when they make movies, they if you got a vampire, what you do? You get a stake to kill him, and all these different weapons to fight a vampire, silver bullets for a werewolf. So since they know we absorb lead because it's in our family 600% more than they do, what do they make their bullets out of? I rest my case.
Period.
So, man, it shows you how deep this goes when they're warring with you. Everything, all their weapons are articulated against you. Matter of fact, in this book, which you should also get, which was so fascinating, I read this book overnight. It's 350 pages, but it's an excellent read. You might not be able to put it down just like me. Michael Moss, Salt, Sugar, and Fat. He shows you how these industries came together. Kraft, Nabisco, Nestle, all of them meeting in 1999 to discuss how they going to wage war with you chemically. How they was going to wage war with you chemically and take over the food industry to wage war with you. And so I just want to read something in here just to show you exactly what I'm talking about. Exactly what I'm talking about. Because there is a institute in Philadelphia called Monell. And Monell actually does the research. They full of geneticists, chemists, psychologists, all of these different instruments, these blancos who do what they do. Oh, and Tia to you says lead in Flint water. Sidebar, because I'm gonna get back to this. Not only was lead in Flint water, but there was a bacteria that they genetically modified called Legionnaires. And our people, because I'm from Michigan. So, our people were actually dying by a biological agent that they genetically modified, and it was attacking their melanin. And they were being hospitalized, you know what I'm saying, from that bacterial agent too. So it just wasn't lead. We got to understand that they were sitting up there putting in a biological agent that was attacking our melanin. And a lot of our people, I believe 80 or 90 of those individuals died from Legionnaire's disease. So that's also important to understand too as well. But I want to show you guys this. Or read this to you, rather. Excuse me. All right. Now, first, I want to show you who they was employing, where they was coming from. Now, one of the guys who was big off into this, his name was Moskowitz. Now, Moskowitz, you already know, sounds what? Like this, one of them so-called chosen people names, because that's what he was.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Okay. He took pride in the science he brought to food invention, as he told a gathering of food technicians, because, of course, hopefully most of you guys don't think that it's somebody in the apron making your food that you buy in this grocery store. They're in lab coats. Okay. The history of your field wasn't, this is what he tells them. This is what he tells these people in a meeting. He said, the history of your field wasn't real science. There was no methods. There was no corpus of knowledge. That's what he's telling them. Now, it says, as they're describing his history, his personal history, it says his path to mastering the bliss point, because bliss point is basically what these food technicians they do in these stores. They basically get you to the bliss point. They test kids, and adults to see how much sugar your body can take before you say, I don't really like this food. Okay, they literally call it the bliss point. All right. So the bliss point began in an earnest, not at Harvard, but a few months after graduation, 16 miles from Cambridge in the town of Natick, where the U.S. Army hired him to work in its research labs. Okay. Now, I'm going to read something very important to you just to show you the racialized undertones and element in this. Okay. Just to show you that we're not playing around with this. All right. Let me get it. Give me 1 second. Because I know I got it highlighted. All right. Now, it said that Monell, now mind you, Monell is this research agency that the food companies pay these people to do research on. Now, once again, I like I said, I disclosed this in the last segment that I did. Cargill, Cargill, is the company that provides the ingredients to these food companies. Nestle, Nabisco, all of them. They're all in cahoots with one another. They may act like they compete, but they're not. They're all in cahoots with one another. And Cargill, the name of his company used to be Diamond Crystals Incorporation. That's what the name of their company was. So they changed it last year. So like I said, once again, if you think I'm tripping or you think this pseudoscience when I talk about them understanding and knowing that you're crystals, you got a long way to go. Now, so it says the center's earliest research, I'm talking about Monell. This is located in Philadelphia. The center's earliest research on our taste buds based on age, sex, and race. Back in the 1970s, researchers at Monell discovered that kids and African Americans were particularly keen on foods that were salty and sweet. So when you see these bags salty and sweet mixed, they're targeting you. They know your chemical makeup. They've been researching you since forever, but we know this, right? So we're not saying nothing, but we preaching to the choir. It says more African Americans chose the sweetest and saltiest solutions. One of Monell's sponsors, Frito-Lay. Frito-Lay was particularly interested in the salt part of the study, since the company made most of its money on salty chips. Citing Monell's work in a 1980 internal memo, a Frito-Lay food scientist summed up the finding on kids and added, quote unquote, racial effect. It has been shown that blacks, in particular black adolescents, displayed the greatest preference for high concentration of salt. This is deep. And you know why this is deep? Because we know this Blanco speaking mayonnaise. They said that the company made most of its money on salty chips. First of all, this is something you got to know. The government subsidizes corn, wheat, and soy. The government pays for farmers to grow this bullshit. The government pays for farmers to grow this bullshit. And you must know that most of our women were on welfare at a certain point in time. Not all of them, but a lot of them, right? A lot of them were forced to be in that position, and the government made it that way. They wanted to obviously break up the home, make sure the father was out of the house, and they said that we will give you these benefits. Ultimately, a part of that benefit package was what? It was food stamps. So the thing is, how are these companies lying to us, trying to get over on us, saying that they made most of their money from fucking potato chips, making this was the big part of their money making scheme, when the government was giving their fake ass dollars away so you to buy this fake ass fucking food. So how much money was you really fucking making when you were giving people free fake ass money to buy this fake ass food?
Man, bro, you talking about just like that fake ass money they trying to offer them now so they could bribe their ass into going under the wardship of the United States government again, like they did our people in the past? Is that what you're talking about, brother? That same fake ass? Oh, okay. I just was wondering. Go ahead.
Listen. Oh, let me get this high quality H2. I'm like water boy in this. Let me get this.
Okay.
But like we said, that's extremely important. Extremely important for us to understand, because that shows you that this is a scheme. It's a concerted effort put forth on the part of these companies who are posing as companies, multinational corporations, but really are an extension of the government, really the government in and of itself. And so, like I always said, these books are important. So why is it important when you're dealing with this type of animal? I'm gonna show my my screen just to give you a point. We're gonna make this come full circle. We're gonna get it all full circle, right? So let me present this. Share the screen right quick.
All right.
Okay. So it's the Washington Standard. Beastiality is already considered legal in 11 states. All right. I'm going to show you why I'm making this point in a second. We're just going to read a little bit of this. Americans may not realize that in 11 states, Kentucky, Nevada, New Hampshire, New Jersey, New Mexico, Ohio, Texas, Vermont, Washington, D.C., West Virginia, this is why they call us the belly of the beast, bestiality. Washington, D.C., bestiality is legal. In Wyoming, it is legal to have sex with non-human animals like horses, cows, pigs, dogs, dolphins, rabbits, or other living creatures. Known as bestiality, zoophilia is illegal in all of the states. Bestiality is classified as either a misdemeanor or a felony. In some states, bestiality is defined as cruelty to animals, in others a deviant sexual act, and in others a detestable, abominable crime against nature. All right, now let's go to another one. I'm finna okay, this is Denmark passes law, because Denmark, it was legal. There's one guy in Denmark. Now look at these nasty freaks. A guy in Denmark said that he had busloads of individuals going to his farm, that he had to turn people down. The buses were so large, you know what I'm saying, to prevent these people from having sex with his horses and stuff. He made so much money. All right. It says, hold on, let me make sure I read this part. All right, they talk about that, but that's not the most important part that I want to read on that article. I don't think that was. Hold on, let me see. Oh yeah, it says in a 2011 report by the Danish Justice Ministry, found 17% of vets suspected an animal they treated had been involved in sex with a human.
But you know what, bro? What's crazy is they probably enjoy them more than they would one of their own, because it's kind of like sleep with their same people. I ain't gonna even lie. They got the same similar DNA. And this is what's crazy. This is not being funny or weird or nothing. They have a lot of DNA with that's similar to these animals. They're on the same frequency. Their vibrational frequency of DNA is what, like six on the with their DNA. We have 9. We have 9 strands, and they have like actually the animals have like 4 strands, and they have 6. We have 9 strand DNA. So if we have 9, the animal got 4, they got 6. They closer to them than they are us. So of course they'd be very comfortable, right, bro?
Right. This is one of the reasons why they want to associate as animals. Look, listen, you just hit the nail on the head. I was just going to read this quote. It says, zoophiles like Malcolm Brenner, this guy named Malcolm Brenner, argue relationships with animals, like he had with Dolly the bottlenose dolphin, should be as normal as those in interracial relationships. But is zoophilia really a sexual orientation choice? Is it really comparable to interracial relationships? Because one, let's get one thing right so we can get 2 things straight. This is why they always compare us to animals, right? Because this is why they, and this is powerful stuff. Because this is why they get away with it, because one, we already know that they have, like you talked about, they have an inclination to be sexually attracted to these animals. Okay. And then they compare us to animals to justify that, you're like animals anyways. And this is where the move is going to be. You see so much in the industry that we know as mass media sitting up here changing up the sexual energy. So we sit up here and be like, and this is where people get stumped. They say, why is everything about sexual energy? You must understand sexual energy is one, not only how you got here, it's what turns a boy to a man, it's what turns a girl to a woman. That's called puberty. So you must understand, if you all live into Kundalini and all of that different stuff, your sexual energy should not be seen as being one-dimensional. It is the very energy that you're going to use to achieve your highest level of enlightenment. That's how you turn into a grown person. Like, you shouldn't just see sexual energy as, I'm in the mood, or if I want to reproduce and have a child, that's what sexual energy is all about. No, your cells reproduce within themselves. That's called mitosis. Your cells literally reproduce. That sexual energy allows your cells to reproduce, and they make something called daughter cells. Why do you think they call them daughter cells? The new cells are born or made through sexual energy. This is without you even interacting with another individual in a process that their science calls meiosis, where you share your genetic information with another person to create a new organism.
And guess what? That's funny, not funny, but that's crazy. You said this in describing it, brother, because that is so true. Because one of the higher religions that they view, there's a religion where they actually use sex to reach that ultimate height. So they'll take it to the point of orgasm and hold it to actually get that energy, brother. I've told them about that before, and here you go, breaking it down.
Listen.
When I say, hold on, bro. When I say
our book is only 1 page, we on the same page. We got the book. Look, you got to get with people who book not only 1 page. You better be on the same page.
Brother, y'all know, y'all see this, bro. Come on, y'all. I'm saying, listen, I don't put it out there, but I'm gonna put it out there again. Y'all make sure y'all go sub to my brother, because when I say, y'all know he be bringing the noise. He fire. He be so on point. I be sitting over here, I gotta just mute so I shut my ass up and don't keep interrupting him. When I say he be so on point, it's crazy. Go on, bro. Go ahead on with it.
Well, we know this because the pineal gland secretes what they call melatonin. All right. The pineal gland secretes what they call melatonin. Melatonin acts on your gonads, what they call gonads, because the cracker got to, he's fork-tongued, so he got to spit it in a million different ways to confuse you. So you say, oh, it acts on my gonads. What are gonads? Your gonads are your sexual organs. Okay, so that's why at night, some people, and I was going to do, this was my next video is going to be about what they call nocturnal emissions. That's a scientific term for it, but we know it as wet dreams. Okay, nocturnal emissions. So you find out, especially when you try to suppress that energy, it comes out in your dreams. And at night, the pineal gland sends out melatonin, and your melatonin acts on your sexual organs. Matter of fact, when in order for them to get animals to breed out of season, they shoot them up with melatonin because it tricks them and thinks that they're in the breeding season. So melatonin is not just about being one of your body's most powerful antioxidants. And there's also an excellent book on that called Melatonin, Your Body's Natural Wonder Drug, something that you also have to have in your library. Very, very, very deep book, very powerful book. But it talks about melatonin.
Sorry, brother, say the name again so I can put it in the chat.
Melatonin. Matter of fact, hold on. Let me grab it right quick. Let me grab it.
Okay. It's called, Chief said it's called Tantra. What's called Tantra, brother? I know you're speaking on something he just said while he's grabbing that. Put it in the chat. What are you talking about? Something, what he just spoke on? Yes. Okay, sis. Come on now.
Melatonin. Your body's natural wonder drug. Okay. Melatonin, your body's natural wonder drug. All right. By Russell J. Ryder, PhD, and Joe Robinson, forward by David E. Blass, PhD, MD. Okay. Yeah, I got books everywhere. I'm trying to think where.
Okay.
Okay. And this was the book that I also told you guys to get. The Ankh. The secret or it's the African Origins of Electromagnetism by Nur Ankh Amen. It's called the Ankh. You know what I'm saying? Very powerful book. Somebody can say, yeah, folks, when they last night first. Yeah, because when that melatonin kick in, it acts on your gonads, and they are fully aware of that. This is one of the reasons why they lose it, because like we talked about, most we know most blancos, their pineal gland is calcified. And it was a very important point raised by an African brother. He said, you know how I know blancos ain't got no soul? He said, because René Descartes has said that the pineal gland is the seat of the soul. So if your pineal gland is calcified, how do you have a soul?
Exactly. And it calcifies. What's crazy is it calcifies for them at 11 years old. They still have it. They do have it. But at 11 years old, by 11 years old, it's totally calcified for them, guys. Keep that in mind.
Yeah, and that would be even more prevalent if, like you said, they wasn't going through what they call the process of amalgamation, breeding in with us. You see what I'm saying? That's why you have a very small percentage of them whose pineal gland will be active, but the vast majority of them, no, they suffer from that, right? And so, listen, this is the whole point too that we got to say. So even controlling our crystals, the crystals you take in is extremely important, because the reason why I want our brothers and sisters to understand is crystals and having crystals around you, that's cool. But that's a sideshow. That's only part of it. Because when I tell you that, and I've already explained this, glucose and, fructose, all these so-called simple sugars are really actually crystals. Okay. And so your blood is made up of these blood types they call A and B. A and B, if you do your research, you will realize that those are carbohydrates, or those are sugars that raise off the surface of your blood cell. Those are sugars that raise off the surface of your blood cell or your erythrocytes. Okay. Now, the point that you have to understand is that if you were to undergo a blood transfusion, God forbid, if you were to be in some accident or something like that, they would ask you what your blood type is. And if you got any family members that's close to your blood type, so you can receive blood. Now, the reason why A, B, and O and R, well, the R, or say the plus or the negative. The plus means you have the RH factor or you don't, plus or negative. Now, the reason why these are important is because these blood groups are the most aggressive in terms of what type of immune reaction you would have. These sugars or these crystals, because your blood plasma is full of crystals. That's what you have to understand. And if you have any doubts whatsoever, please, the last video that I just dropped, and I go off extensively into that. And there's previous videos when I did with the one on beer and sugar, and showing you that they're crystals, they're in crystalline formation. Not to mention that carbon only bonds in a form called diamond cubic. Not to mention that the woman whose name is Rosalind Franklin, who sent the photo to two scientists called Francis Crick and James Watson in 1953, stated that she used a science called X-ray crystallography, and X-ray crystallography is the study of how crystals form. So we just got that out the way. So the point being is that if you were to get a blood transfusion, you have to realize that they're going to look for blood or blood crystals that are compatible with your blood crystals in your blood. Okay. So with all that being said, I'm saying this: the reason, if you go back and you do research historically about our people, you will see that they were very preoccupied with what type of fruits to take in. So if you think about ambrosia was called the food of the gods. That ain't nothing but pineapples and shit and a couple other different fruits. You're like, okay, so I eat these fruits all the time. Why ain't the fuck I'm feeling godlike? Because you also eat other crystals. A crystal's job is to bond with other crystals. So it shows you that in your blood. Your blood has crystals in it. If it bonds with the wrong crystals, what do you have? You have a bad immune reaction or an immune response. That's why the Blanco made a big point of doing what? Making sure they took over the crystals. That's why a lot of times when you purchase their fake sucrose, because real sucrose is glucose and fructose, which is found in plants, vegetables and fruits, right? When you take in their fake sucrose or fake crystals, what do they call it? Right on the package, it say crystal sugar. It say crystal sugar.
Wait, so and they get one of their favorites, brother. I'm sorry, Crystal Light. Boy, people went crazy over there. Oh my gosh, it's a diet. I can use this for a diet drink that's giving me some enzymes and things that I need. That's some fake ass Crystal Light. Crazy. Put it right on the package.
And remember the craze if you were 80s baby. Remember back in the day, 80s and 90s and stuff. They had a big, one of the big liquors that niggas was drinking was called malt liquor. Malt liquor, right?
Yeah.
And I told you, I explained glucose. I said maltose is a sugar when you put two glucose molecules together. It's called maltose. Hence, you have malt liquor. And so when we seen our brothers and our sisters addicted to this alcohol that was literally sugar water, we wonder why they were so addicted to it. Because they knew that they were not getting the right crystals. And we know that the blood runs off glucose. That's why anybody who takes diabetic medication, they got to test their glucose or their crystals in their blood. Okay? Very important. Hold on one second.
Yeah, guys, it's crazy, right? I think we're gonna in a few minutes once the brother before he goes to his next item, guys. We're gonna give away one of the books. We're gonna what y'all know I like numbers, so maybe we'll think of a number between 1 and 100. Whoever is closest to it without going over that might be the person that will get that first book. We'll do that shortly when the brother takes the next break.
Okay, so yeah, so at the end of the day, the thing that I want to put emphasis on in order to, prevent ourselves from going into, participating in their rituals, just be aware, the best step that you could take. And it is difficult. Me and his sister talk about this all the time. When we do talk, it is hard. Like this stuff is addictive. The sugar is addictive because obviously our body runs off of it. We got to get away from this notion that we can completely just quit sugar because the body runs off of a fuel called glucose. There's no way to quit sugar. So we just have to make sure the sources that we take in are the ones that the Most High has provided through sunlight. When these plants use carbon dioxide, water, and sunlight, they make a crystal called sugar. I've already proven that countless times that sugar is a crystal. It's also a hormone. I've even read, if you get the book, The Immortal Life of Henrietta Lacks, she will show you that it is a gene. They also call it a gene, glucose 6-phosphate dehydrogenase A. That's something that they said was uniquely attributed to African Americans or blacks in America. Our gene, our type of sugar, our type of crystal. And I've also showed you, if you get the book Salt, Sugar, Fat, how all of these resources complement this outlook and worldview to show you that they put forth a concerted effort, an institutional framework to go to war with you. So when we talk about the racism, one of the things that we got to understand, we need to stop marginalizing it or making it simple as if it's just about interactions. Oh, some Blanco, some Ken, or some Karen, they did this and did that. That's the least of your worries. That's the least of your worries, because they know why are you distracted with that. You in Walmart or you in your local grocery store buying a fake ass crystals. And that's what you need to know.
Real quick on that, brother. Lord, I know most of the people that come over here is woke, brother, but anybody that's just visiting and, maybe this live stream just passed by you, if you're not aware of what's going on with this sugar and stuff, please make sure you're paying attention, because they're about to do one of the biggest rituals ever, which is tomorrow Tuesday, I think it's the 31st. They're about to have the biggest ritual ever with your children. Not only will they be compromising them with these artificial sugars, right, which is invading their system, messing with their teeth so that they're destroying them from the inside out. And also there's rituals and things that are done. There's a lot of death and child kids that get kidnapped and things of that nature. Since we're talking about this is so important, guys. Make sure you are protecting your children. Anyone that you know, maybe say, hey, why don't we do a little get together? Let the kids have some fun. Maybe do something personal. You don't have to call it Hallows Eve, which is what it is, because that is all about a ritual. So just try to, keep this in mind what the brother's speaking about when you think about a whole bag of candy that you might take your child out to get.
Oh, and you know what, you said that, and like, how can we forget that? I'm so glad you brought that up. So I would say I would end on this, like, just a little bit of science, but not much. You have an enzyme in your mouth called amylase. Amylase breaks this sugar down, because what happens, you run out of enzymes after a while, because you're born with a certain amount of enzymes called endogenous enzymes, and you have to take in more enzymes. And that's not a problem, because that's why the Most High provided you with all this fruit. A fruit has all the enzymes that you need. That's why you'll see a fruit radioactively decaying or spoiling, because it has enzymes that's breaking the sugars down or breaking the energy down inside of itself. Okay, so what happens is you also have an enzyme in your mouth that begins to break the sugar down before it reaches your intestines, because what's behind this face? The brain. The brain uses 60% of the sugar and fat you take in. So it's an easy way for the brain to get the sugar first before the rest of your body gets it. So what happens is that as your enzymes break this food down, guess what? You have bacteria and fungus that live in your mouth. They also live there because they know, one, is dark, unless you talking, which, ain't really all the time. Your mouth is closed, and when you sleep, your mouth's closed, because some people sleep with their mouth open, but you get my point. It's a great environment. It's moist, it's dark, so fungus and bacteria can live there. This is one of the reasons why people spend billions of dollars in for oral hygiene. And if you notice, there's an uptick on people getting dentures at a younger age, teeth falling out their mouth, you're having issues and stuff, because this fungus is using the sugar that you eat. That's why no matter how often you brush your teeth, and no matter how much you use, how much oral, hygiene you use, the fact of the matter is you're always going to have trouble, because this fungus is going to have access to sugar first. So it's going to start living in between your teeth, breaking your teeth apart. There's going to be black mold and fungus that you're going to see in between your teeth. That's because you're feeding the fungus. And the only way to stop feeding them is off natural fruits and sugars. They don't like that type of shit. When they do, if they do, they have to basically use it in order to help you. See, when you're eating high fructose corn syrup and all of these very powerful sugars, when I showed you that book, Salt, Sugar, Fat, he's going to expose you that the industry has made sugar 100 to 200 times powerful. And just like high fructose corn syrup, you can't taste it. You can't taste it. So you're going to start having all these oral issues. And who makes money? But it's really not about the money. It's to break you down, because it's about crystal formation, which in turn affects homeostasis, or the body's balance. So when they feed this trash to our children, they have them out there participating in the ritual time in and time out. And remember who makes this candy. Remember who makes this junk. This is subsidized by the government. This corn, all that fake ass food, they're putting it in there, and then they have your children go out there acting like, oh, they're doing your favor, getting it away for free. Because one thing about the Blanco through their, what you term is through them being nice, that's how they pass their poison on. That's how the Blanco is so damn devious. When we think that they're nice, oh, the Blanco, I go to their house, knock on their door, they give me free candy, as if that makes it better. Because they gave you poison for free and didn't charge you for it. You happy about that? Because they give this is what's so
look, brother, it's a Halloween suicide party around this piece. Stop playing with our children. Go ahead, bro.
And then when we realize that sugar is hormones. So if we see our children start to change after the holiday, now mind you, with this eclipse that just passed, now they're big off on these rituals. So remember, a sugar is a hormone. Sugars are, how do we know this? Because lactose is what a mother feeds her child, and lactose is a glucose molecule and a galactose molecule together. That's what lactose is. And a woman can feed that to her baby and help her baby grow. And we also know through their science, they say from years 2 to 5 years old, that's when the baby secretes the most androgens or testosterone, male and female child. That's when the brain develops more off of this sugar. So if you need more evidence, I will hit you over the head with this shit. Stop acting like you don't know what this is now, because you want to act like the cracker ain't that damn devious. That's what your problem is. Because if you buy into this, you're going to realize that this damn Blanco is a damn monster. You dealing with a damn monster.
They will hate their brother and sister brother about some of the smallest shit, but when it comes to these people, they be loving them to death. I just don't understand it. It's that syndrome. I forgot what the syndrome. Stockholm, yes, brother. It's sad.
Okay. Stockholm syndrome operating on nuclear power. is what the hell is going on with our brothers and sisters. But we seen that in the movie Killers of the Flower Moon. Remember I said that you seen them march with the Ku Klux Klan. Ku Klux Klan was behind them with no mask on.
Yep.
And if you watch and pay attention to the movie, you'll realize that the Ku Klux Klan member, who was the same guardian as you seen with Sarah, as you talked about earlier, the same guardian for the main character, the woman who was the wife of Leonardo DiCaprio, was the head of the Ku Klux Klan, was a Ku Klux Klan member.
Crazy.
But they knew, as I said, that was a civilized tribe. And we have to understand, in order to be civilized with these Blancos, one, it's going to be impossible for us because they associate being civilized with your skin. You are inherently evil to them because you are diametrically opposed to their existence. That's what you are. So in order to control you, they have to control the sugar. The sugar is hormones. But like I said, I'll give you another example quickly. I said this on the last show. Remember, they tell you that vitamin D is a vitamin. It's not a vitamin. Look it up. It's a hormone. But if these Blancos said that they was putting hormone D on your milk or hormone D in your orange juice, you wouldn't drink it. So this is what you're dealing with. Understand this. So, like I said, we'll leave on that note, and then obviously we can get into the content. So we'll give away 2 free books.
Actually, brother, I'm sorry. I forget that you said you wanted to ask a question for the book. So yeah, go ahead with your question.
Oh no, I wondered if you had any questions. I didn't have a trivia. I didn't have a trivia. Okay. I didn't know how. Yeah, I was gonna allow you and your subscribers to whatever you had came up with. You said that you had a number or something. Yeah, so I got 2 books available. I can be ready to be shipped off when we see who the winners are, and they can get this book, The Untold Story of the Carbon Baby. So you'll get a copy of that, and much more to come. Much more to come too, because
she said, what's to take vitamin D? Vitamin D is what they consider vitamin D3. Let me let you go. I'm sorry, brother. She said,
vitamin D3 is what's called.
Wait, real quick, brother. While he's explaining this, guys, you guys can go ahead now. We're gonna go ahead and do the first book giveaway. You guys, a number between 1 and 100. Whoever is closest without going over will get the first book. While the brother's explaining this, you can put your numbers or drop your numbers in the chat. Go ahead, brother.
Okay, there's 2 types of vitamin D. You have vitamin D, vitamin D2 and vitamin D3. Vitamin D2 is called ergocifferol. Okay, that's come from plants. All right, then you have vitamin D3, which is called cholecalciferol. All right, now the thing is that this vitamin D3, which is what humans make, all right, it comes about from the sun. That's why they call vitamin D the sunshine vitamin. Which also, sidebar, how in the hell could the Blanco put some sunshine in the damn bottle of milk? I'll let you try to figure that out. Now, vitamin D the sun radiation hits your skin. There's cholesterol in your skin. The cholesterol turns to vitamin D3. Okay, vitamin D3 is essential for you to be able to metabolize or actually make crystal bonds with manganese, obviously calcium and magnesium, etc. That's why vitamin D3 is so critical. What makes this so important is because if your bones are strong, your blood is strong. If your bones are strong, your blood is strong, because the blood is made in the bones. That's why you seen Blancos have so many issues with blood. They're the first ones to come up with this blood transfusion shit. Their blood was weak because their bones was brittle. Their blood was weak because their bones were brittle.
They say in the miscegenation book, brother, they said they had to come and blend with the tropical blood of the American Indian. They said if they did not, they would die because their blood, their skin, and everything was so frail. Just like you said, this is what they said about their own self. This is why they need the massage. Mm-hmm.
This was the whole point of the movie, Rabbit Proof Fence. It showed that. You know what I'm saying? So they acted like they were doing us a service. Oh, we're going to breed and weed them out. We're going to take the half caste, and then the half caste, after about 3 generations, then you will see that this octamaroon will then have a child, and then this will be the quadroon, and all this different shit. You just like, stop with your whack ass fake pseudoscience. But you need the melanin, because we all know that Australia is the #1 site of skin cancer. Okay? So we also know from the International Agency for Cancer Research, which is an affiliate of the World Health Organization, stated that 1 Blanco dies every hour from skin cancer. So as I always say, the sun doing his job. What are you doing? What are you doing? I say next summer we turn the sun up and hide all the sunblock. That's my damn problem. I go to every dang store, still all the sunblock. You blancos think I'm playing? We're gonna see how well you survive without your damn sunblock. All right, we're gonna see how well you survive without that damn sunblock, because you talking all that shit. You know what I'm saying? So we about to turn the sun up on your ass and steal all the sunblock and see how your ass fare. But that's just my take. But yeah, if vitamin D, unfortunately, a lot of us can't do much about it because some of us live in higher latitudes, right? You're not going to be getting that much sun. Obviously, I live in Michigan. So that's why it's so important to sun gaze as much as you can. They say that it's called sun eating. It's called sun eating. And so, when anytime you get opportunity, I don't care when the sun is out, you may be at work, you better take a good 5-6 minute break, right? Because then just close your eyes, because your eyelids will serve as a shield so that you don't do any damage to your eyes. Close your eyelids. And because usually the only time you can look directly at the sun is at sunrise and sunset. That's the best time to do solar eating, right? But if you have to, the sun's out and maybe it's not that hot or anything like that, just close your eyes, look directly at the sun, do 5 to 10 minutes of sun gazing. One thing that you will do is you will get an immense amount of solar radiation that your body could use, right? And then convert that to the needed vitamin D3. That's the best way to get it if you're in a higher latitude, if when you have the opportunity, because your body will be able to store that. Okay. All right. But, unfortunately, they push us out of these regions. That's why, like I said before, when you see places like the Congo is one of the 13 countries. It's 13 countries that lie on the equator. All right. And the Congo gets all those rich minerals because it gets all those crystals being emitted from the sun. That's why those people are always in danger. And you always will be, as long as you have what you call melanin. All right.
Period. Brother, can you do us a favor? Look in the private chat and reveal who what the correct number was.
The correct number was 44.
No. In the private chat, brother, for the number for the win. Look in I forgot, brother. Hold on. I forgot you're not that familiar with StreamYard. On the side, brother, to the right, where it says brand, it might say something about where your share is. It'll say private chat. Hit the private chat when I said
it's yours. Oh, yours. Okay, I'm sorry. That'd be my. Okay,
you good.
So hit it. So put the arrow or what?
No. Look in the private chat, brother. I put the number in the back so that it was there before they start putting the numbers. Yeah. So you can just tell them what the number is. Yeah.
Oh, okay. My bad, y'all. I'm sorry. It's 82. 82 is the number. 82 is the number.
All right, Dee. You hit it right on the nose. See, she in my head. That she cheating. That's my friend. No, stop. She in my head. Me and her. See, she must have heard me. How you get it on the nose, gal? But yeah, sis got it. All right, now, sis.
Oh, it's 2 books though. So who else was close?
It's still gonna be enough. You want to? Okay, who the next closest one? Let's go over them real quick. Let's see. The number was 82. Anything closest to 80? I think it was one of the brothers because I just seen it. I thought I highlighted it. One of the brothers put 81, and I was like, dang, he almost got it. Let me see. Where is it? Who is that put 81? I'm going to find it in here. One of the guys, because I just looked at it. 81.
Reread L, Unoccupied Turtle Island. I'm not sure. I could be wrong.
You see, I don't even see it. I'm looking up, brother. They've been putting them numbers. So, okay, here, it was original Skywalker, brother.
Oh, original Skywalker?
One. So he was the next closest too. So that's our second win, guys. We got Dee and original Skywalker. Congratulations, you guys, on winning this awesome book that the brother has put together so y'all can get this info. Y'all already know it's going to be deep and y'all going to enjoy it. So we have a gentleman and a lady that won today. That is awesome. I love that. All right,
that's what's up. Yeah, and so just send her your information, mailing information, and then we'll make sure we get those books out to you ASAP.
That's right.
As always, can I end on my thing? Like I like to end on my, my saying.
Yes.
Who is God? God is the judge. And why is she the judge? Because she decides who wins and loses, not my opponent. Who is my opponent? He does not exist. And why does he not exist? Because he is merely a dissenting voice to the truth I speak. Speak the truth.
Fire. Fire, brother. Yes, yes, yes. You already know, brother. We appreciate you so much. I'll be waiting for our weekend so me and you can get together and do our little build now. It's like that's the
Right.
exciting for me. Look, I be so bored when I be doing it myself sometimes. And when I can get up here and get somebody that's not only am I able to coincide with some of the information, but actually learn something, brother. I mean, I love that. I'm not that I know everything, but it's a lot of stuff I do know. So when I can learn additional stuff to what I know, that is such a blessing to me, like I told you before. So I so appreciate you, brother. You are a blessing to me. You came in and around at the perfect time to help me bring this information to my people, and we're covering all ends because mind, body, and soul, it all has to be perfected. And the more you know, and keeping yourself in the proper space, you know, the better. So yeah, you are definitely a pleasure to have, brother. And I can't wait till next
Oh,
week.
that's the
We're gonna have
same
another.
here. Shoot, you see how I had to listen to you when you did the thing on Sarah? Like we all learning. We don't nobody. If anybody got a problem learning, you're not in the right area.
That's
You're not
right.
in. You're definitely not in the right space. You know, because this is a journey with our spiritual brothers and sisters, and what we're showing each other, what we're showing the Most High is that we're willing to learn. Like what did my man say in the movie too? Again, he said, "I come to you knee bent and body bound, the only way I know how." You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
I'm humble. I'm ready to receive this information. I'm for everybody. This is a learning journey. This is a journey for all of us.
That's right. That is right. Well, we are, you guys, y'all already know. Hey, yeah, I don't even got to ask y'all. I know y'all enjoyed it. I know you guys got an earful, some great information. It's always a pleasure to have someone come over here with this good info. So we are learning something different, new, enlightening us, and actually open us up more to more information that will brighten.
Hold on. Let me say one thing. Strutting Lady Soul, what they say teeth are not bone. They say the difference between teeth and bone is that bone is living tissue. It can, remake itself and change, and it holds your blood. Teeth are considered, that they're not living tissue. They do have a chance to remineralize, but we know that remineralization is not going to take place if you're not eating the right sugar. So we know the teeth is made up of 4 parts. You have the dentin, the pulp. The pulp is like where the blood vessels and stuff at. You have the enamel and you have the cementum. So you have 4 parts of the teeth, but it's not considered living tissue, but it is made up of the same stuff, but it's not considered living. And that's one of the reasons why they attack it the way that they do, because that's what the Blanco does. But yeah, I just kind of want to say that.
I appreciate that, brother. The sister says she had 81. I didn't, sis. I saw the first 81 I saw was the brothers. I was actually going down looking through the numbers. I seen that Dee Dee had it. I was like, oh wow, sis got it. So
Oh, did
I
two have 81? Did two have 81?
let me look. I want to double check. She said that she had it, but it was let me see. Your first number, sis, that I see in the chat. I'm sorry, babe. Was I know a couple of y'all put different numbers, but your first number I see is 72, sis. Unfortunately, I'm sorry. So whatever your first number, I know people put multiple numbers, but whatever your first number was, that was the number I was going to go by. So this was your first number, sis. And the brother,
I was going to say, if they were tied, she would have been able to get a book, because we don't let nobody miss out if they were that close. If they were tied, we would have definitely. But yeah, that was the first number. Yeah, but like these giveaways are going to continue to happen. Like we're going to make sure that we continue to keep doing them, and I'm going to be having giveaways on my channel too as well. The first giveaway that I'm gonna have too will be $100 and the book signed and autographed too. So we're gonna continue to keep doing this, because I mean, listen, without my people, I'm nothing. You know what I'm saying? So listen, it's gonna don't feel like you're gonna be missing out, because we're gonna do much more of this, and that's why we tell you guys to support, because
that's right.
the money that I get from you guys, it goes in this pot so that it can be distributed. This ain't no church where the preacher leave with the Cadillac and the Rovers. You know what I'm saying? We all gotta eat, right? So yeah, yep.
That's right. That's right. Yes. So, she said gratitude. Perfect. All right, brother. So, as usual, you guys, the brother already left us with a good word, brother. You want to go ahead and close it out, and we'll be out of here. I appreciate you guys. You guys are the best. Y'all awesome. Y'all energy, y'all insight, y'all intelligence. Everything that y'all have to offer when y'all coming in and sharing of yourselves as well is so appreciated. We definitely appreciate you guys coming in. Make sure that you guys, if you are able to support, make sure y'all go support our brother, because he does a lot. He pays a lot to put into the graphics to make sure he's entertaining your mind with proper thoughts, He has these books that he promotes to put the knowledge out for us. He's doing some giveaways. He's going to be doing more on our channel. He's also doing other things that he's just promoting to get our people right. He's just like me. Like literally, it's about our people. Like for real. I wouldn't even be in tune with the brother like this. Like seriously, so support the brother, guys. This is his Cash App. If you have it to give, please make sure that you do. Don't be afraid to share a little bit of currency with the brother, because he sure shared a full load of current with us today. All the energy, love, and light, and everything that he's pouring into the channel and helping you guys see insight into things is so appreciated. So if you can, please do that. You guys are the best. And yeah, that's my last word, brother. And I'll let you close out, the way you'd like to.
Okay, we'll just hit it with this one. Couldn't find my other one because I showed I thought that was the final version, so that was the wrong version with the intro. But I still love the song, so we're gonna just close with something more, a little bit more, with a little bit more energy. So
all right,
I appreciate everything. Appreciate you guys. Appreciate the Crystallogians.
Yes, all day. All right, guys. Peace, love, and bliss. After this, guys, we are out. Y'all have a great one. All right, till next time. I'll probably do something tomorrow evening, guys. I might be busy in the morning. If I have time to, I will. If not, look for something tomorrow evening. Y'all know it's a few things I want to go over since the weekend, but I've been busy. Family time. Y'all know I love my grandbabies. I'm over here chilling with them, but I still made sure we came through to make sure y'all got this info. So yes, I will be getting with you guys tomorrow. Let's go, y'all. Appreciate you guys. Y'all the best.
DJ, work your ass up, work your ass up. I'm the hottest artist on the planet, Tiamat. Haines here. Because I'm gonna let you know, if you're in the water, you're gonna die. Illuminati dies here today, mom. It's a shark in the zoo. They say in Babylon, put the mark on them too. His whole body light so we can maul other guys. If my all-seeing eye going dark on me too. And them coffers for you. I'm ready, so the devil who I call out first. I heard God call, he said behind the great wall. He had made a sword on to kick them all off earth. Hey, so my click don't play. Heaven gotta choose the wolf or the lamb. Get shot down by a pig in the street. Why do niggas gotta beef when it's a whole lot of hell? Alright, it's a hole in the dam. They can't flood Merc, so they shoot down gangs. Merc fly high, baby, Merc won't die. I don't see nobody here that can shoot down planes. It's like I shoot down veins. You're turning everybody in the hood to an addict. You look 6th grade to a bully with a habit. Cause I'm a switchblade or a fully automatic. Let's go. It's only 2 ways out. Don't ever try to sit and think of running, cause you can't. It's only screaming die while you running out of tank. Or screaming try bitch while you running out the bank. Cause my click don't pay. I'm probably in your range getting brain with the semi. My hoe act right like she came with an Emmy. She want black pipe cause she came with the Remy. Ain't no pain even in me. You probably wouldn't know where I blow back kush. It's 5 knockouts when it's 5 cops out. Or it's 5 shots out from the big bad wolf. Better bitch gon' say that my click don't play. I do a clip in the cave, but I'm probably in your range getting brain with the semi. Better bitch gon' say that my click don't play. I do a clip in the cave, but I'm probably in your range getting brain with the semi. Better bitch gon' say this is the only way I know to handle this.